The recent appearance of Knox Jolie-Pitt with bold pastel pink hair at a wrestling tournament has set social media ablaze. The quietest member of the Jolie-Pitt family, rarely seen in public and almost never attracting attention the way his siblings do, suddenly became the center of curiosity. In this new image, Knox exudes the vibe of a teenager stepping into a phase of self-identity, an unexpected yet fascinating sight, especially within a family watched as closely as the Jolie-Pitts. The soft pink hair isn't just a temporary change, it's a symbol of transformation for a boy growing up amid volatility, where every step toward adulthood is scrutinized under the public lens. What's striking is that this shift didn't happen randomly. It reflects a familiar motif in the Jolie-Pitt household, the freedom to express oneself through personal style. Angelina Jolie herself went through years of experimentation, blonde hair, jet black hair, even vibrant pink. And Shiloh has become an online sensation more than once due to her ever-changing hairstyles during her teen years. Knox, in a very natural way, seems to be continuing that tradition of freedom, but in a more understated and reserved manner. The quiet confidence in his appearance at the tournament, calmly letting the world see this new version of him, signals that Knox is entering a phase of clearer self-definition. To understand why a simple hair color change garners such interest, it's necessary to look back at Knox's entire journey, from newborn to the soft-spoken 16-year-old who rarely appears in public yet carries immense curiosity from the public. Knox was born on July 12, 2008 in France, alongside his twin sister Vivienne. Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie's decision to have the twins abroad wasn't just private preference, it was a way of distancing themselves from the intense American media spotlight. From birth, Knox carried the magnetism of being a Jolie-Pitt child, part of what was then considered Hollywood's most powerful family. Despite being born into glamour, Knox has always been one of the least visible children. Unlike Shiloh, who quickly became a child star due to her distinctive look and tomboy aesthetic, Knox often appeared quietly in his mother's arms or behind his siblings in their rare public outings. Even as a toddler, Knox's resemblance to Brad Pitt was noted, his eyes, his jawline. Many magazines described him as a mini Brad Pitt, fueling public interest in how he would grow up. Knox's childhood unfolded between two extremes. On one side, his mother's overwhelming love and her emphasis on humanistic values in parenting. On the other, the simmering turbulence in the household, especially after their parents' 2016 divorce. Angelina Jolie has said she strives to let her children express themselves freely without imposing rigid expectations. All 6 children were encouraged to be independent, confident, and respectful of each other's differences. Knox, though quiet by nature, was allowed to grow in his own way. Jolie once said, "I'm not the head of anything. They influence each other more than I influence them." This mutual influence is key to understanding Knox. Maddox is strong and independent. Pax is introverted but sharp. Zahara is mature and graceful. Shiloh, energetic, and Vivienne, gentle, and deeply bonded with their mother. Growing up among such vibrant personalities helped Knox to find an identity of his own, quiet but far from insignificant. Throughout his teenage years, Knox has rarely been seen, and each rare sighting only intensifies public curiosity about his development. Particularly over the past 3 years, Knox has grown noticeably taller. Some sources say he has surpassed 1.80 meters, yet he retains the softness of a 16-year-old. This physical growth makes his latest appearance even more striking, a tall teenager with pastel pink hair, a fascinating contrast between strength and softness. Looking back on his development, it's clear that Knox is stepping out of the quietest child shadow. This change isn't just aesthetic, it's a declaration that he's beginning to shape his own image, much like Shiloh did years ago. But unlike Shiloh, who often captured attention unconsciously, Knox steps into the spotlight more gently. A pink hairstyle, a sports event, a candid moment, enough for the world to notice that the once quiet boy is becoming someone new. What makes this even more compelling is the context surrounding Knox's family. The long drawn-out divorce between Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie continues without resolution, far beyond asset disputes like Chateau Miraval, involving custody issues, sensitive information, and revived allegations whenever new documents are filed. Recent developments show both sides holding firm, creating a tense legal backdrop that impacts the entire family, including children like Knox trying to grow up quietly. In newly revealed legal documents, Angelina Jolie disclosed details that surprised the public, including that she once had to borrow money with interest from Brad Pitt to purchase a home for the children after leaving Miraval. This illustrates how difficult the post-divorce period was for her. Jolie admitted she had to pause her career for 2 years to focus on caring for the children after the family upheaval, severely affecting her finances. She stated she could not return to Miraval due to painful memories associated with the place and wanted to establish stability for the children as quickly as possible. Brad Pitt, meanwhile, continues to pursue the Miraval lawsuit, arguing that Jolie sold her share without informing or seeking approval from him. Pitt's recent filings indicate he is demanding access to messages between Jolie and her representatives, an action Jolie's team immediately objected to, claiming the communications fall under attorney-client privilege. Pitt's side insists the messages are crucial to proving Jolie violated her agreement. Thus, the legal battle escalates with every filing. Within this prolonged tension, the most important impact is the invisible yet profound effect on the children. Maddox, Pax, and Zahara have taken clear stances, reportedly siding with their mother and keeping distance from Brad Pitt, especially Pax, whose relationship with his father is said to be the most strained. Shiloh remains close to Jolie and hasn't appeared publicly with Pitt for years. Vivian is deeply attached to her mother, frequently accompanying her to events. And Knox, the quietest of them all, seems to be affected in a more subtle way, with the family turbulence woven into each stage of his adolescence. What makes this situation even more notable is that both Pitt and Jolie are trying to move on with their lives. Pitt resides with girlfriend Inez de Ramon and a stable relationship, though insiders say the lawsuit remains the only dark cloud over him. Jolie continues directing, pursuing humanitarian work, and building her fashion brand while engaging in deeply personal creative projects. Yet, newly released legal documents reveal her post-divorce life has been far from easy. From borrowing money with interest to buy a home to being unable to return to Miraval due to heavy memories. Taken together, these details paint a complex picture. Both stars are trying to move forward but are repeatedly pulled back by unresolved issues, affecting not just them but their children, especially teens like Knox. Although Knox rarely appears in events or controversies, he stands at the intersection of two contrasting worlds: Pitt's discipline, strength, and outward calm, and Angelina's sensitivity, compassion, and introspective nature. With his parents locked in a prolonged legal battle, Knox must find his own balance between them. A close source once said Knox keeps his emotions the neatest, meaning he rarely shows them, but that doesn't mean he feels any less deeply. In recent years especially, he has watched his siblings express their disappointment or draw boundaries regarding their father. Knox, however, seems to choose silence, keeping his emotions to himself while attempting to live like any other teenager. But this silence is exactly what makes the public curious, not because Knox seeks attention, but because each rare sighting, just a few photos, is enough to suggest that his internal transformation may be much deeper than his composed exterior. This becomes even clearer given the explosive recent developments between Jolie and Pitt. Pitt's insistence on pursuing the Miraval case to the end, requesting access to private communications, and the back-and-forth accusations over confidentiality agreements all point to a relationship far beyond repair. This is no longer a simple divorce. It's a clash between two value systems, two life philosophies, two irreconcilable worlds. Meanwhile, Jolie continues to defend what she sees as essential boundaries to protect the children, including her refusal to sign the non-disclosure agreement Pitt requested before Miraval negotiations. She argues it would silence her about what truly happened, particularly the 2016 plane incident, still a sensitive subject today. Her determination to protect her children's voices and her own truth shows that this battle holds deeper meaning than a business dispute. Within this context, Knox becomes a symbol of a generation trapped between two forces, belonging fully to neither, yet shaped by both. Fascinatingly, instead of being overwhelmed, Knox seems to carve out a quiet path for himself, much like choosing pastel pink instead of a rebellious shade. That choice, soft yet deliberate, reflects a very Knox kind of maturity. Calm, subtle, and powerful without noise. And perhaps this is why the world is beginning to see Knox differently, not just as the quiet Jolie-Pitt child, but as a teenager forging his own path, one that neither depends on nor rejects his famous roots. As the Brad Pitt-Angelina Jolie battle continues with no end in sight, one thing is clearer than ever. The second generation of the Jolie-Pitt family, especially Knox, is entering their era. A generation that didn't choose their circumstances, but is learning to choose their responses. And sometimes, the strongest response is intentional silence, the very thing Knox embodies more profoundly than any words could.